It's that simple. Those are the keys to growing your chest after 40. Hey man, Gary Walker here, and welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to tell you how to structure the perfect and most effective chest workout for muscle growth. And the reason I'm going to do that is I want you to be able to set up your own workouts to make sure you're maximizing your results in the gym, especially for an older man, because one of the things a lot of men lack when they get older is that full developed chest. And if you're not maximizing the muscle in your chest, you'll notice it can lead to some saggy boobies or man boobs, all right? So I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks that you can do, and make sure you pay attention because you wanna implement these into all of your workouts. The first thing, if your goal is to really grow your chest and you wanna make that a priority, then you need to do more frequent training sessions, meaning a lot of people work chest maybe once a week. And if that's you, then the only way that might be good enough is if you're doing a lot of volume, upwards of 10 to 16 total sets for your chest. Now, even if you're doing that much volume and you're working it that way, that's not the most efficient way, nor the most optimal way to get a better chest. So I prefer breaking that up into two workouts. Two different workouts a week, like a Monday or Thursday. You wanna make sure you have a couple rest days in between, because you do need to work out intensely. Now, within those workouts, when you're doing your exercises, you wanna structure two different pressing movements and then one isolation movement. So typically that means if you're doing one press, one can be a normal standard dumbbell bench press. Now the other one needs to either target the lower pecs more or the upper. So if you want more upper pec work, then after your dumbbell bench, then you're gonna go to an incline bench. That's gonna help work your upper. Or you can lower and do more of a decline bench to target more of the lower. And if you don't have the decline bench, you can also do dips. So dips work the same way because the arm position is going the same. So you're coming here and you're lifting your body up. So you'll see that lower chest working. Just like if you have dumbbells, you're coming here and you're pressing towards the lower part of your chest. So that's gonna work the lower part of your chest. So choose two exercises, and then you can also alternate those. So alternate from workout to workout. So you can do a flat bench and a decline bench with a chest fly, for instance, on the first workout. And then you can start with an incline bench and then do either a flat or a dip or something like that for the second. And then you can do cable crossovers or a pec deck if you're in the gym to where you have your arms here like that, or dumbbell fly. So there's a lot of different single or isolation exercises you can use for that fly movement. You can also do flies across the body, upwards. If you're on a bench, you can go upwards like this, or even bring the flies down here. So the main difference is you're not pressing because you're not bending at the elbow and then extending at the elbow. You're locking your elbows and then you're only using your shoulder joint to move the weight. So that's the main difference between a fly and a press. So I like to incorporate two presses and a fly. Now, if you're in the gym, then you got a lot of options. You know, you're gonna have the Smith machine where you can do a Smith machine incline. You're gonna have plate loaded exercises, pin selected exercises. So there's a lot of different options if you're in the gym. But if you're at home, just make sure you have a utility bench or an adjustable bench so you can do incline, flat, and then if you want to do more of a decline, just place a plate or something under the front of the bench, and that's going to make sure the lower portion of the bench is higher, which will create that decline angle. So ton of different options, whether you're at home or at the gym. Now, the next thing you want to make sure you're doing with these exercises is utilize a full range of motion. So if you're doing a bench press, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. So same thing with the fly. You want to make sure you're getting that maximum stretch in your pecs and then really squeezing at the top. So picture your muscle doing the work though. Don't just go through the motions. Allow your chest to expand. Once you feel the maximum stretch, then picture your chest shortening or tightening, bringing the weights back up. That's gonna make a massive difference with that mind-muscle connection as well. So full range of motion, and then increase your time under tension. So the easiest way to do that is utilize some Tricon sets with some of your exercises. You can do your Tricon sets. If you don't know what those are, make sure you check out my Tricon series. There's a list of different exercises that I show you how to utilize with the Tricon sets. But at the end of the day, the main thing you got to focus on is just allowing the muscle you're working to be under tension for a longer period of time. So when we're talking chest, that's as simple as a 4-second eccentric, 4 seconds to lower the weight. If the weights are up here, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, you can lift it back to the top explosively, but control the weight going down. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, press. That's gonna create a lot more time under tension, especially if you're doing 8 to 12 repetitions, you know, as opposed to just what you'll see people do. They'll get the weights, drop it, press it, drop it, press it. If you're dropping it, you're not allowing that tension to happen. The other thing you're doing is you're not getting the full benefits of that eccentric contraction on the negative portion of the lift. And that's gonna give you a lot of the benefits with the muscle growth, is just controlling that eccentric portion of the lift. The third thing that you're doing is putting your shoulders in a position for injuries. So you gotta be very careful with that. Now, another technique I like, if you're one of those guys that you just can't feel your chest working, and I've had a lot of clients tell me that, you know, it's like, hey, I'm doing my bench presses and my arms are tired, my shoulders are tired, but I don't feel my chest at all. Okay, well, you don't have a very good mind-muscle connection to that muscle at the moment. So the first thing I recommend is doing something called a pre-exhaust exercise first. For instance, you can do the dumbbell flies, 20 repetitions, nice, slow, 20 repetitions, get some blood flowing into the chest, rest 60 seconds, do a second set, rest another 60 seconds, and do a third set. So 3 sets of 20 nice, slow, and controlled repetitions. Guess what? Your chest is already gonna be on fire, which is pre-exhausting the muscle you're trying to work, but you're saving your triceps and your shoulders from all that pushing. So now when you get into your compound exercise, your dumbbell bench press or dumbbell incline press, you don't need near as much weight, and it's already going to be activated from pre-exhausting it first. So you're gonna get a lot of stimulation in your chest, and you are definitely going to feel it working. So that's one of the biggest things I like to do. So now total volume for the week, you heard me talk about 10 to 16 or 12 to 16 total sets. That's gonna be individual to you. I mean, everyone is unique. We all have different recoverability. Some people need more stimulus than others. And with that being said, some work more intensely than others. If you're working close to failure all the time, then you don't need near as much sets to stimulate that muscle growth. However, I don't always recommend going to failure all the time. So sometimes I would rather you do 2 or 3 extra sets as opposed to just maximum sets and 2 or 3 less. So you can go back and forth between those two, alternating, and that's gonna give you optimal benefits. But at the end of the day, I like the volume to be split up over 2 workouts. So if you wanna do 16 sets of chest work, instead of doing that in 1 workout, and the reason I'm saying 1, that's a traditional bodybuilding split. Old school bodybuilding split, you work out, say chest on Mondays, you do 16 sets. That's how you did it. And then you rest 6 days, and on the 7th, you do it again. So I would prefer you to do 8 total sets. 8 total sets on Monday, working your other body parts on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, do another 8 sets for your chest. So you still have the 16 volume, but you're breaking that volume up and adding frequency as well. And that's one of the biggest keys to growth. The reason that works so much better is because you're not fatiguing your muscle near as much, and you can work it more intensely than you could if you were doing 16 total sets. So I used to do the 16 total sets when I first started bodybuilding 25 years ago. And the first thing you realize is after that first big exercise number 2, you're not working out near as hard. Exercise number 3, a little less hard. By the time you get to your 4th, you're barely pushing any weight at all. So when you're splitting it up, you can maximally lift 2 different times that week. So you're overloading your chest even more. So, and at the end of the day, what I recommend when you heard me talking about going to max versus adding a few more sets, I still want you to push yourself and challenge yourself. So what I like to do is what's called 2 reps in reserve. Meaning if you're working 8 to 12 rep range, the very first set, you want to choose a weight that you might be able to get 12 reps with. And if you can get 14 and max out, then that's a good weight. Meaning if you can get 15 or 16 reps, that weight is way too light. That's more reps in reserve. So 2 reps in reserve. 12 reps is where you're gonna stop. If you could get 14, if you could get 2 more reps, then that should be your max weight. If you can get more than that, try adding 2.5 or 5 pounds to that lift. So that's how you can determine that you're working out hard enough. Now, the next thing you wanna do is if you're getting 12 with that first set, try to get 12 with the second. The third set, more than likely, you won't be able to because your muscles are already stimulated and slightly fatigued. That's the key to growth. So you do that for a couple workouts, and that next workout, you try adding 5 more pounds. If you can't add 5 more pounds, then where you went 12, 12, 8 on your first 3 sets, now look for 12, 12, 10. You made progress by adding 2 more repetitions. And then 12, 12, 12 the next workout. Once you can do that, then add 5 more pounds. So that's how you stay ahead of any type of plateaus. That's gonna keep you growing consistently. Now, I hope that all made sense to you. It's that simple. Those are the keys to growing your chest after 40, whether you're 50, 60, 70, or 80, and it's also gonna keep you safer. When you use the time under tension method, like my Tricon sets, that lowers the weight that you're using considerably and still placing a lot of that weight because of the extra tension on the muscles you're trying to grow. Well, there you have it, man. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, get busy, get after it, and God bless.